Today I want to explain to you the importance of paint locker maintenance and how we can make your job on board easier. Here you can see a typical paint locker. You can see they operate a can rotation system. This is where they rotate all the cans after delivery and put the new ones at the back. The benefits of this are you don't end up with having to clear out all the old paint which has been set at the back of the shelf going out of date. Here is your typical inventory or remaining onboard list. As you can see, it's very simple and easy to use. The fewer different types of product that you have on board, the better. Filling out this chart can feel like yet another job to do, but they really do save time in the long run and you can instantly know what you have available without hunting through the shelves. A lot of paint is wasted each year through not being stored properly. To get the longest possible shelf life from a product, you should always make sure that the lid is back on securely and rotate the can upside down to allow the paint to create its own seal. Now I'm going to explain how to use the Jotun maintenance manual to quickly find the information you'll need. Here you can see the Jotun maintenance manual overview clearly displayed, and you can see just how easy it is to follow. If I want to do some work in the engine room, for example, I can see very clearly exactly what products and colors to use. You can also download the chart onto your tablet or smartphone. You can see here, if you click on the technical data sheet for Pilot 2, for example, you then find here all the information you require for drying and overcoating times. When I click on the MSDS, you can see all the information for personal protective equipment required. Here's the volume calculator tool. When you know the approximate square meter area to be painted and the dry film thickness you want, which is clearly shown on the maintenance charts we've looked at, it tells you exactly how many liters of paints you need for this job. You can also use the spreading rate information from the technical data sheet. This helps prevent too much product being mixed and then wasted. In this short clip, I'll be explaining time planning. Let's suppose I want to paint this area of the deck. There are several factors I need to consider. How long is this going to take and how much time do I have? If I wasn't painting an easy to access area, I'd also have to consider how I'm going to get proper access for painting, particularly when applying primer coats when adequate thickness must be applied. The weather looks like it's going to stay dry for at least 5 hours, so we don't need to worry about it raining. There's some small areas of corrosion here that I'll need to address. So what tools am I going to use and how long roughly do I think this will take? Next, I'll consult the Jotun maintenance manual and I can see that the primer I need for this area is a 2-pack and I will need 2 coats. So what's the drying time and overcoating interval? Using all of this information, I know now that this job is going to take 14 hours for the 2 coats. That means I will only get 1 coat applied today. It is also important to allow time for induction of 2 component products. After mixing the 2 components, leave the mixed paint to stand for a short time before applying. This is usually 10 to 15 minutes. This is induction time and it will enhance curing of the product after application. Another factor to consider is the pot life of a product after it is mixed, which you can see clearly here on the technical data. It is essential that thorough preparation work is carried out before application of the coatings. The performance of the applied paint system is directly dependent upon the level of surface preparation carried out. If corrosion and surface contaminants are not removed, the adhesion of the coatings will be affected and the coatings will fail. Then the whole job will need to be done again sooner than you would like. Key factors include washing and degreasing, removal of flaking paint and corrosion, feathering of edges and abrading. Firstly, thoroughly wash the area to be painted with fresh water to ensure removal of salt and dirt. Where applicable, use onboard high-pressure freshwater washing machines or slurry blasting machines. Then power tool clean the areas of coating breakdown to a bright steel finish. Disc sanders are preferable as they will roughen the surface to improve adhesion of the applied paint. Do not use needle guns or power wire brushes as they will create a smooth polished surface which does not provide a key for good adhesion of the coatings. Ensure that intact paint surrounding the repair area is feathered back to a firm edge and abraded. This will provide a keyed surface for the newly applied paints to overlap. If the edges area are not feathered back, they will lift when the fresh paint is applied and corrosion will start. Aluminium and galvanized areas are to be treated slightly differently. The area should be cleaned with an alkaline detergent followed by fresh water, but then abraded with a non-metallic abrasive or bonded fiber machine or alternatively hand abrasive pads. This will remove the polish from the surface and give a scratch pattern to ensure the paint can adhere to something. Do not use high-speed rotational sanders as these will just polish the surface. Prepared surfaces must not be allowed to deteriorate before painting. Paint should be applied as quickly as possible to prevent contamination from salt spray, condensation, soot deposits, etc. If left for a prolonged period after preparation work, then the surface must be fresh water washed before painting. As I'm about to start working with a variety of products, you can see I've got my overalls on and I've also got gloves and safety glasses. Single pack products are extremely easy to use. Simply open the can, mix the product with a mixing stick so there is no sediment on the bottom, and then it's ready to use. Afterwards, you simply put the lid back on. 2-pack products require a little more pre-work before they can be used. You must mix the components A and B very thoroughly. Failure to do this will result in an uncured coating film. For small amounts, mixing can be done by hand, using clean stirrers or by using the mechanical paint stirrers that some ships have on board. If you are mixing a 20-liter pack, the paint, be it a 1-component or 2-component product, really should be mixed using a mechanical stirrer. Before adding the component B activator, stir the component A to ensure that no solid-like ingredients have settled at the bottom of the can. Once this is done, the component B can be added and the 2 components thoroughly mixed. However, I might not want to use this much product. For 2-pack products other than Jotamastic Smart Pack, there is sufficient space in the component A can for all of component B to be added. This will guarantee the correct mix ratio proportions of components A and B. However, when using Jotamastic Smart Pack, or in cases where only small amounts of paint are needed, decant the required amounts of components A and B into a smaller clean container, which is what I'm going to do here. Before decanting comps A and B into another container, be sure of the product's mix ratio so that the right proportions of each component are decanted. It is very important to decant comps A and B according to the mixing ratio specified in the technical data sheet. You should always apply the first coat by brush and not with a roller. The brush bristles will work the paint into the surface and ensure good penetration and adhesion. Rollers can be used, but only after the first coat has been applied by brush. For best results, a good quality brush should be used. Using a brush of inferior quality can be a false saving as it will not hold as much paint and additional coats will be required. It will also give an uneven finish and can leave bristles in the paint film. Roller application can leave a thin, uneven paint film, often with misses and pinholes. Penetration of paint into the prepared surface will be poor, So for these reasons, we do not recommend roller application for the first coat. Where rollers are used to apply finish coats, it is important that they are the correct type and of a good quality. As a general rule, for smooth surfaces where a gloss finish is required, a roller with a short pile or nap will give the best finish. A good result can be achieved with a pile made from a woven polyamide fabric or knitted polyester. These materials will provide a smooth finish with fewer air bubbles and release of fabric. In order to check that the correct thickness of paint has been applied, the wet paint film can be measured using the wet comb gauge carried on board the vessel. After the 7 hours indicated on the technical datasheet, this will be ready for the second coat. After use, they should be cleaned immediately. Roll out any remaining paint and remove the sleeve. Wash with the recommended thinner for the paint being used, then wash with detergent and warm water. Then leave to dry naturally. Washing and degreasing is an important part of the preparation work. Many people are used to using thinners to clean application equipment and use the same thinner to clean an area before painting. This, however, will not adequately remove dirt and grease. It will at best simply move it around. Any deposits of oil or grease must be removed with a suitable water-soluble emulsifying agent or washing up liquid, cheap and easy to use. Nearly all products that Jotun specify for onboard maintenance were specifically designed for that purpose and do not require any thinning. Here we have 2 panels of a product designed to be applied by brush and roller versus a product designed for dry dock to be applied by airless spray. You can see the C-Store's designed product is much better at leveling and there are no peaks and troughs in the paint film. These are areas of low film thickness and will break down much quicker and show rust. Sometimes a project is started that cannot be completed in time, and the mixed paint starts to cure and the thinner gets added to make it workable again. This is not good practice. We would always advise correct time planning and mixing the correct smaller amounts required. Now we're going to take a look at common reasons for a coating breakdown and some of the reasons why. If the surface is well prepared prior to painting and the correct thickness of paint is applied, the coating repair will last for many years. However, if any of these steps are not carried out correctly, the repairs will break down prematurely. Poor surface preparation and painting over coatings already breaking down will not fix the underlying problem. A common cause of breakdown in coating repair is insufficient thickness of the anti-corrosive primer coating. Products like Jotamastic SmartPack protect the steel with a barrier effect to achieve an adequate barrier and provide good protection. Needless to say, adding thinner into the paint will result in a thin, less resistant paint film. Also note that adding extra activator or component B will not speed up the drying time of the coating. It will instead slow the curing time and may even result in a permanently uncured paint film that will then need to be removed. Another cause of failure can be the incorrect product being applied. Your Jotun maintenance manual should state the product required for every area, and if the area you wish to paint isn't there, you should contact your Jotun representative. However, there are some tests you can do to find out what generic type of coating is already on the surface. We will use 3 types of solvents to determine the paint type. Thinner number 2, alkyd thinner, number 10, polyurethane thinner, and number 17, epoxy thinner. Some solvents will start to affect certain types of coatings. Take a cloth or rag and dip into thinner number 2 and rub it across the paint surface 5 to 10 times. As you can see, there is now some removal of the paint with this thinner, meaning that the product is an acrylic.